does this even work?
How's this?
Oh
dear. What's
What's
this?
this?
That
That says
it's
it's stream.
Shows.
Suppose. Check my own channel. Oh, no, look, there we go. It is working. No views, that's alright. Oh, no, hang on, there's one. Sure. No, look, there are people. It says no views, so I was assuming no one's here. And I could get away with not doing anything. I'm really literally just testing this out because I haven't streamed for so long that I thought, oh, I'll test this out and make sure it works before getting into streaming again. Oh, echo, okay, right, so what's going on there? That's why I need to test this thing. Why is that? Desktop audio? Is there still an echo? Oh, it's probably when I've got this on. So do I still sound echo? There's lots of people. Right. Lots of people with nothing better to do. Okay. Is it still echoing? That's what I'm asking. Come on, team. Work with me here. It is. Are there two mics? It could be. Could be two mic settings going on. I'll just bring this onto here so you can see what I'm doing. Audio capture. It's desktop, so that should be fine. Look at this there. There you are. How's that now? I bet that's better. So now testing 1 2. Sound is not clear. Still not clear? Oh, what? See, that's why I need you all to help me. You can't hear me. Well, what's this thing? What's this thing do? So that must be audio input capture. Use the other mic.
Test 1 2. Test 1 2. How's that one? How are we doing? There's always this delay. BG, what's that? Increase your gain. That is up to maximum, I think. Oh, perfect. There we go. We're getting some comments now. Thanks very much, everybody. Oh, it does make me laugh. How bad I am at this sort of stuff. Hey. I'm just looking at myself on screen and noticing my hair's really green, glowing green. Thanks very much. That's the new hairstyle that's going around at the moment. Right, well, what I was going to do was just work away and answer questions and chat and stuff. So if you've got anything you want to talk about, then let me know. It's quite interesting just seeing what people are up to out there. Oh, only hear you in my left ear. Now that's an interesting one because this is a mono mic, isn't it? And it's only on a mono stream. Oh, how do I set that one up now? Oh, right, here we are. You see, right, so somewhere in the settings, how do I do that? Properties? Maybe it's properties. Audio input capture, that's correct. Oh, down mix to mono, that's probably it, isn't it? There we go. How about that? I'm a genius at this. I'm a streaming genius. I think that's right anyway, because it looks like there's 2 channels now. How did I start learning Blender? It was so long ago now that I honestly can't remember how it first started. I definitely wanted to get into film and things. Mainly film was what I was wanting to get into the most. Games would have been brilliant, but it was all about film at the start. And I thought, right, I'm going to work on animation. And wouldn't it be great to have a job that I absolutely loved and wanted to do every day? And that's what I have to do now, which is great. Oh man, there's so many comments. I thought it would be just sort of hang out with a couple of people, but it's just like millions of comments that I can't get through them all. Oh, what the? Blender's procedural. Oh yeah, it's all sorts. Oh, it's overwhelming. Anyway, this one I'm working on. I'm working on a little asset pack. Which is a castle asset pack. You can see me building a little castle here, and I've actually, if you follow me on the Discord and stuff, I asked for a team of people to help me create some asset packs and got them working on some objects. Some of them are quite cool. Look at this little, I love this one. This what do you call it? Trebuchet. That's quite fun. And I've been building some other castle pieces. Maybe with the hope of one day selling it and making some money from my efforts. But we shall see. It's not easy. It's not easy making asset packs. So there's lots to it. You don't really realize how difficult it is. So that's what I'm going to be doing. That's the castle that we drew in the Udemy course. Is it like that? Maybe it's my style. I just like this sort of wonky, crooked style. Yes, it is actually, isn't it? It's very similar. But this is not hand painted. This is flat shaded, I suppose you call it, low poly, flat shaded style. But it's quite fun, isn't it? And what I'm doing now is literally, you can just sort of take these objects and I'm cutting them up so that they could be building blocks to make a cool castle pack. Thanks to all those who are saying my courses are brilliant. It makes me feel good. What's going on with that one? I don't know what's happened there. Anyway, making this castle. Oh, there's so many low volume, it says. Right, well, that is tough to sort out. How can I sort that out? Let's just because this is the thing I want to get right, because I'm thinking about doing some more streaming, maybe a bit more interactive, sort of like classroom type things. That'd be fun, because I always enjoy doing those. And I'm not a teacher anymore in a college, so getting back into that by doing it online would be great. Right, let's have a look at the settings here. What can I do? Filters, perhaps filters, edit filters, add filter. Maybe there's a volume filter type gain. Let's add that, and let's add some gain. How does that? How am I sounding? It's probably going to kill people now, isn't it? Let me know how that is sounding. It's going into the... Oh, it's peaking a tiny bit there. Let me know. Still... is there a link to your Discord? Oh, that's a good question. I find it so difficult to find where that link thing is in Discord. Oh, man. Okay, let's open up Discord. Okay, so you can see my Discord here. Where's that link thing? So I can put it in there. I don't even know where the comment... Oh, I suppose I can comment in here. Laurie, you're here. Avocado Fire. Can you grab my Discord link and put it in here? So yes, there you are. There you are. Look at that. I need to make you a sort of admin of this place, don't I? Add as moderator. There you are. Managing moderator. There we go. You've been promoted, Laurie. There you go. Or Avocado Fire. What a cool name, eh? Anyway, there. So you can sort that out for me, can you? Thanks very much. The black... I'm trying to read messages and work at the same time. This is a bad idea. I thought maybe I could do a bit of work and chat at the same time. But that's really quite difficult, isn't it? To try and read messages and chat at the same time. Very difficult. Oh, is it in the description? Is it for the Discord link? I don't know. Is your mic set up as an Omni mic? Nope. It's a... Can't remember what it's called. What's that one? Where it just comes out this way. You can chat and pretend to do a bit of work. I think that's probably the best way. Yeah, look at me working away. I'll just move around the scene like this every now and again. People will think I'm working. And if they sort of pop in, they'll think, oh, Grant's really hard working, isn't he? He's a really busy person. When actually they don't know the truth. Now now that's what Laurie, who is on the stream now, has been working on down here. And I'm going to maybe edit some of these. So let's move those away. I'm forgetting where my numpad is. It's over here. Right, let's move that up to here. So it's closer to my castles. See, we've got all these castle assets. Oh, I should put my screencast keys on, shouldn't I? This is J&M's screencast keys add-on, so you can see what I'm pressing. Do I give feedback? Oh, cardioid, that's a word, isn't it? Cardioid, Mike, yeah. Sometimes I try and respond to everybody who asks me questions and things like that, but sometimes it's difficult, especially if it's a really difficult, long question, then I think I haven't really got time for that. But if it's like, what button do I press here and there, I'll try and respond and help people. But I do get quite a lot of messages saying, what's going on here, or can I be your mentor, or something like that. And if I agree to be everybody's mentor, I would be, that's all I'd be doing. In fact, I wouldn't have enough time for everybody that asks. So with this asset pack, I'm thinking, right, this little castle thing here, I'll go into isolation mode. I call it isolation mode, but it's called local view, / I think that's / on your keyboard now as well as your numpad. So front view, Alt Z to go into wireframe mode, and this section here I think would make a good, section to the castle. So I'll Shift D to duplicate that, and then P to separate. That's my friend Alistair who came up with that, separate, and selection. And now that is its own object, and then we've got the little origin point here, so it needs to move the origin point, right click, set origin to geometry. Now with asset packs, oh, thank you very much. Look at that. I just got an XP Pen tablet. Aurora. Aurora Borealis is isn't that the thingamajiggy, the Northern Lights? Would you have a course on sculpting and using Blender with a display tablet? Most of my courses that are to do with sculpting, I'm always using a display tablet. I don't have anything specifically about how to work with it, but for mine, I set up the buttons, the pen buttons. The main thing you need to do with your pen, your main button, set that to middle mouse button, and that's pretty much all you need to do. Do make sure that your pressure sensitivity is set up as well with that one. But yeah, all my courses I'm using that have sculpting or painting involved, I always use my graphics tablet, which is just here, down here. So I've got one screen up here and my graphics tablet. I call it display tablet is better, down here. Anyway, so back to my modeling. Now, with asset packs, where the origin point is important. So with this object, if I duplicate this, Shift D to duplicate, want to scale it, see it's scaling from the bottom there. So it's on the ground, it needs to scale up. So when you're making assets for asset packs, think about where your origin point is, because that's all important. And generally speaking, it's not in the middle here. Off to the corner helps slightly. It depends how you want to snap to other things. But I think, we were having a discussion about this the other day, I think the corner is better, but that's debatable. Anyway, I can delete that object and maybe edit this one slightly. Let's local mode for that. Oh, I just went into isometric for a moment then. Edges, fill that, I think, and edges, fill that. And there we have its own piece. And there we go. Millions of bucks for my asset pack. Who'd pay me for that, eh? Making assets. Oh, loving it. Oh, and interestingly, I got sent a tablet from XP Pen just the other day. And generally when I'm checking these things out, I think, oh yeah, that's okay, that's not too bad. But this one was actually really good. It was really, really good. So I'm very excited about my new XP Pen tablet, because I want a tablet that I can take around with me, sort of mobile tablet with my laptop. And it's purely USB-C, so it will work just plugged in. You don't have to plug the whole tablet in, and I'm very excited about that. Can you create a destruction environment? Not today, but probably could. Maybe. So I've got my window open, so I was having a listen for what's outside. I feel like I'm babbling actually. Is that? I'm not used to doing this, so I feel slightly nervous. So I thought this would just be a chill out. There'll be a few people on stream, but it turns out there's 180 viewers or something. So I'm starting to panic. Yeah. Your face, yeah. Thank you very much, Reka. Anyway, where were we? I'm making asset packs, aren't I? I'm making asset packs. There we go. So I've got a block there, and I can move that across to the side. Oh, I was going to move that origin point as well. So to move your origin points, the easiest way, to be fair, is to go into edit mode, select everything, and move that around. I find that's the easiest way, but you can go up to the options when you're not in edit mode. Sorry. Options, and then move your origins as well. Now I can only move my origins. I think that gets a bit confusing though, because you forget that it's on. But yes, there we go. That's what I'm doing. I'm making asset packs. I feel like that needs to be. Oh, that's not too bad, is it? I mean, I need lots of these, you see, so I can make these building blocks. So I can select this lot here, Shift D to duplicate, move that across the side, probably around there. And edit it up slightly. P, separate by selection. There we go. Beautiful. Yeah, honestly, I can't understand why I've got so many views. It doesn't really make sense. Right, grab those, and I'll make that a little bit thicker. I feel, because the remit, is that the right word? The keywords for this asset pack is chunky. I like the chunky style, that sort of chunky style like this. You see that tower there. Crooked and cute. So those are my 3 keywords that I've got to keep in mind when creating every asset. And I tried to convey that to my team of asset pack creators, and they did a good job on the whole, but it wasn't easy to get across the ideas that I have up here. So for example, this is one of our team, and I feel like that's not quite in keeping with the rest of this is good, this is lovely, and it's based on my original ones, but they went across to make their townhouse, and you can sort of see the difference. This isn't quite as crookedy, quirky, or cute. Maybe it's quite cute. It's fairly chunky with the roof, but I feel like it's not quite there. See what I mean? I don't know. Anyway, I'm making an asset pack for those that are asking again, and it's a castle asset pack. And I'm just making different blocks, and then eventually I'll make a little castle, and then make a whole scene, is what I'm thinking. You got my concept art course without paying for it. Well, lucky you. Is it because you took part in the game jam, perhaps? Or is it because you got it from naughty means? Who knows? Scale that in the Z0. That's how you flatten things out. It's surprising how many people don't realise that you can align things by just pressing scale X0 or scale Z0. That's a really useful thing to remember. Can learn a lot. You can learn a lot from me. Stick with me. You'll learn a lot. Let's grab this here. Make that a bit chunkier. That's what I mean by chunky. Chunky like this. So these are a bit thin, but this top bit's nice, you see. That's good. I like that. But now I've got different parts. I need probably just a middle section like this. Just some sections like this. And move those across. So Shift D to duplicate the X-axis. Move that across. P, separate by selection. And we've got another part there. But I've got to remove the origin points, as you can see there. So origin to geometry, same up here. Origin to geometry. Oh, calm me down a little bit more. Oh, look, so many people watching. They're probably expecting something useful, and then they get on and they think, oh, what is he playing at? He's just messing about with some silly castle. It's not a silly castle, it's an amazing castle. Scale Z0, line those. I could have just done this with a cylinder, I suppose. Nope, scale Z0. Can you hear my dog in the background? I don't know. He's barking at the DPD driver, who is hopefully doesn't need a signature. I don't really want to leave my stream. Okay, is that enough? How do you draw polylines and triangles? I'm not sure quite what you mean there. Polylines and triangles. Yeah, don't know what you mean exactly. Dogs are cute. My dog is a pain at the moment. He's getting really old, and he's almost blind now. And he's just a pain. He's just an absolute pain. Oh dear. Can you increase your voice? So it needs to go louder, does it? Okay. I'm going to sort that out in a second. Is it me mumbling, or is it the fact that I need to increase it? It looks like I need to increase it, actually. I'm looking at the volume levels. But yeah. Yeah, I'll do that in a sec. Let's move that. Oh yeah, I need to move all this up. G, then Z, move that up. There we go. And now the origin point is at the bottom. And if I scale Z, it'll move up like that. Handy stuff. It's a little quiet. Okay, right. Let's sort that out. Here's my Streamlabs. Look, there it is. Ugh, I've messed it up there, haven't I? And let's go to the... It's the settings, isn't it? I think this is it. No, it's this one. It's this one here. Was it settings? Filters, yep. And then edit filters, gain. I'll turn it up a little bit. Oh, that might be too much. I need to move this across slightly so I can... 1, 2. I think that's about right now. It's going into the red really slightly, but I was concerned that was going to cause problems. Is it peaking? Are you getting any sort of distortion? Or are we all okay? future of graphic design since the rise of AI. It's really difficult. I did a live stream with my friends at Game Dev TV, or colleagues at Game Dev TV, and we talked a fair bit about, well, we were talking mainly about the ethics, but also about I'm trying to read at the same time as talk. Forgot how difficult this can be. About the ethics of AI. It was mainly the ethics, but also what to do in the future. I think there is a future for every job, at least for the next 10 years. I change my mind on this almost every day. But thanks for saying the audio is good. Cheers for that. But after that, I think, well, there's a magic number, isn't there? I think it's being debated amongst those that work in AI, the magic number of when pretty much every job is taken over by AI, and whether AI becomes sentient at that point, we don't know. But it's something like 2032 or somewhere around there. So we've got roughly 10 years before every job, according to these AI experts, is taken over. I have my doubts about that, because I feel like people are going to get in the way. And I feel like there's always, whilst it's building and growing, I think there's always a need for graphics design. It didn't take long to bring up AI, yes indeed. I think there'll always be a need for graphic designers. There's still a big legal problem as well. It's not just about ethics, it's about the legality of it. Look up what Japan have done recently, their government, and how they're dealing with the AI issue. I think that's probably how other governments will go. That's just my general take on that for the moment. I'll try not to go into AI too much, but if that's what people want to talk about, I'm happy to. I could talk for hours on it, really. I'm very interested in it, very interested. And I probably have, well, in fact, I think everybody's got views that somewhat, well, no one knows what's going to happen. No one knows what's going to happen. It's very difficult. Do I do any programming? Definitely not. I'm an artist. No, I prefer to be an artist than a programmer. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Laurie's done that already for me. Thank you very much for that. So now I've got some pieces there. I should be able to make a tower quite easily out of these. Let's have a quick go. I'll just copy this, move it over to my little castle area. So there's Shift D and there's Alt D. And Shift D just copies, but Alt D does a linked copy. And that's quite useful because anything I do now on my linked copy, so let's go into here, and let's just scale it up in the Z. Can you see my... Oh, that's interesting. Why is it not scaling up from the bottom there? Scale Z. It's because I'm in edit mode. That will be why. But scale Z, and you can see it's happening with my original as well. That's really useful for asset packs. If you're building, let's say, a scene, you want to, in Blender, this is, and you've got all your assets, do Alt D, because you can make changes to that original as you go along. Important stuff. Similar to prefab in Unity, exactly that. Yeah, I might be able to make art, but what's the point if there's no real intention behind it? That's the same reason for playing sport. There's no real intention behind playing sport. You play to win, but I don't really play to win. I play with my friends just the other night, and I wanted to win, but didn't matter that much. It was to be there and take part. That's my take on AI at the moment. I feel like if it takes all the jobs, in some ways I'm hopeful for that, because then we can do the things without the pressure of having to do the things. But that might be a bad thing. I don't know. AI. Let's make another one of these. And let's try making another one of these at the top. So Alt D of that, move that up in the Z. And look, we're getting a big tower. Oh, yes. G then Z. Oh, I forgot to fill this in. But because it's a linked duplicate, F to fill. And people are going to say, oh, but you've got overlapping faces. That is okay. It's okay to do that. Don't worry about overlapping faces so much. I mean, you don't want to waste things. You don't want to model where you don't want faces where you don't need faces for the sake of it. But you don't have to worry about it if they happen to overlap. And in fact, with asset packs, it's just a really common thing that you overlap faces like this. Do you know, when you've got a big scene like this, the most useful button on your keyboard is, if I press this, the period key, not the full stop key we call it in the UK, on your keyboard. That will zoom in and frame that selection. Man, that's just so important. So I can just jump over here and go into that part of the scene. Who knew about the full stop key? Let me know in the comments. Why would you do that? I have no idea. Oh, isn't this fun, chatting to people? I have not used plasticity. No, never used that one. These are not lining up at all, are they? Let's try and line them up a bit better and see if we can't get a better tower. So we've got an epic tower now. Oh dear. Oh dear, that's bad, isn't it? You can select a group of objects like this. Not like that. I'll forget that. Like this, and then go into local mode for that group. I accidentally selected this one as well. And that will help you, especially when you've got a big scene like I've got here. I'm going to scale that up a little bit. When you do a link duplicate, you can scale, rotate, and transform in some ways. It is a bit jangery, isn't it? And it doesn't affect the original. It's only when you go into edit mode that it affects the original. Now, does that look like a castle tower? No, it doesn't yet. But when I get some windows in there, I think we're going to be away. I think that's probably I use the most. Local view and the / key to go and the period key. So / is local view, but that's numpad and keyboard, isn't it? And period key on the numpad is to go into local view. Right, needs a roof. There's a roof there that Laurie made by the looks of things. I think we need some tiles on that though. So can I edit these ones? Possibly. That's a bit awkward, but I'll do it. Because you want to see something useful, don't you? Something useful on the stream. So I'll press Shift D this time because I'm going to edit this, but I don't want it to be updated. I'm good, thank you. Unknown 3D. Unknown 3D. It's a great name. Great name. Right, what's the best way to edit this? Let's go into edit mode and work on one side to start off with. I use the auto mirror tool a lot. So edit preferences, add-ons, and type in auto, and there's the auto mirror. It comes with Blender, so you don't have to download anything. You just make sure that's ticked, and you've got this, not this, this under edit, auto mirror. You've got the auto mirror tool, and this needs to be mirrored in the x-axis. So if I press auto mirror now, remember it always goes around the origin. Auto mirror. Aha! Now it didn't work. It went in the Y. Have a think. Why did it go in the Y? Why did it go in the Y? Anybody out there? I'm testing you now. We're doing some high school teaching stuff. Why did it mirror in the Y-axis when I asked it to mirror in the X? Come on, people. What is it? Hey, Chris P was first with local. It's the local axis. Local versus global. There we go. Yes. Apply the rotation. Oh, you're all experts. You're all experts. So I'll undo that. Control A. Apply the rotation and into it. Well, I don't know. Why do into edit mode? What are you talking about, Graham? I always prefer to go on the positive with the X. So it will keep that side, the positive side. So you've got your Cartesian coordinates up here. Any that are sort of highlighted with that line and a circle around them. In fact, no, what is it? They're highlighted with the actual letter of the axis. My brain's going weird. That's the positive. That's a good way to remember it. So, where are we? Auto mirror. Yep, so mirrored there. And now I can actually just delete the mirror and I can work on one side and add it later on if I want to. I will delete it for the moment. So I'm working on one side. Remember, my plan is to make a roof like this, but with the tiles. So I'm going to use the tiles from here, turn them into here. All makes sense. Nice to see you, Papa Phil. Good to see you on the stream. I say see you, hear you, watch you. I don't know, whatever you might call it. Right, so what I want to do is, I think I need to get rid of the beam at the top. That's just the joined object, so I can press L over that. Maybe. L? Yay. And delete those faces. And I'm just working on the tiles for the moment. So first of all, let's grab it. Grab it. And I'll move it over to this roof here so I can line it up and see the size. I'll just quickly change, ideally, the shading of this because it's exactly the same at the moment. So shading. Find that object with the period key. There you go, see? Any new courses in the oven? Yes, I've got plans for 2 at the moment. One is just to make some cool environments. I know I've got an environment course, but I want one where it's just environments that look cool, like you've made them in Midjourney, but you've actually put some effort in. One like that, and an animation course. The animation course is going to take me ages, but the other one I might do as a quick, really low price course if I can get it. It's tough because I'm not in charge of pricing. I work with Game Dev TV, and they're kind of my publisher, I suppose. And I choose them because they are really great to work with, and they try and make things as low cost as possible for the student. But there's quite a lot of costs involved, so there's only so low they can make it. But I want to make a short course that's really cheap. It's probably going to end up being $8, which isn't massively cheap, but it's maybe if I say, can we do a special offer, first week only, $5 or something, they might shout at me, but we'll see how we go. So that's what I've got. Good question. That it was a nice little segue into an advertising segment like that. Thank you very much, whoever that was. I've missed them now, I've lost them. I wonder how Blender 1.8 looks. I can't remember what was the first version of Blender I used. It looked completely different to how it does now, I tell you. I like the layout now. I think they've done well. Anyway, shut up, Grant, and get on with some work. Right. K for knife tool. I'm literally... Oh, actually, the bisect tool is better here. Or can I just go like this? I can't remember now. Can I do that? No. The bisect tool is going to be better. Let's go back to layout. That's better. Top view. T for tools. I very rarely use the bisect tool, so I always forget how it works. So bisect, and I want to... Oh yeah, you see, I did it there. I have to select everything first and then draw a line. So line down there to bisect it, and then say which side you want to keep. I think this arrow is, which is correct. And then in the drop down here, clear outer, clear inner. So that's the inside. Then I always forget which way that arrow is. So that's handy. So we're going down to there like that, and then I use the bisect tool this way as well. Coming down here, it's about there, isn't it? Something around there. And then, what was it again? Clear inner this time. Oh, I forgot to select them again, you say. Select them. Oh, it's tricky stuff, this. Let's go to top view, actually, that'd be easier. And then down the corner there. I really need to go to that corner and just stretch them out. That'll probably be the best way. Now, which one was it? I got it wrong again. Oh, there we go. That's how you do it. So, now I've got a tiled roof for this tower. And we're ready to go. Loving it. Now, what am I going to put? Maybe I need a big sort of whatever. What is that? That's what she said. Oh, did anybody watch The Office? I don't know. Shouldn't be saying that on stream. Let's move that across that way. GZ. Move that into position. Okay, that's looking all right. That tile's no good there, so I'm going to have to edit that, and that one there looks a bit dodgy as well. Spire. That's the word, isn't it? Spire. JBA. Oh, thanks very much. Now, how would I pronounce that name? Raghuvir Singh. But thank you. That's really kind of you. Thank you. I would love to know what you're thanking me for. Is it just being around? Maybe that's all it is. That's very kind of you. Let's delete some of these faces around here. I actually forgot that I had the donation thing on, which is always nice. Thank you very much. Right, I'm going to have to take this one. Because you don't want a mini tile in there, you want a sort of extra tile. I think I just want to extend this tile across, I think. So I'll select these two, G then Y. Bring those across. It's a little bit messy here, isn't it? Probably join those two together. So M, merge at center. I think that's going to work. Let's zoom in on that. That looks like it's just about working as a tile, I would say. These look a little bit weird. Let's bring those down a little bit. Yeah, that's just about working. And then if I bring these to... Oh, I'm still on the bisect tool. Go back to your selection tool there. And bring those down. And I'll just bring those across a little bit more. Probably around there. Brilliant. Preferred extras, yeah, the Red Panda dev. I enjoyed extras. I find Ricky Gervais is very funny, but I do find him quite tough to watch. It's that sort of cringe comedy, and you think, no, don't say that, and then they say it, and I find it tough. It's too tough for me. The topology on this roof is a little bit off. It doesn't matter too much these days. I say these days. What am I talking about? For low poly assets, does topology matter? Is the question I'm about to ask and answer. I would say yes, it does. But if it looks good, you're probably okay. You don't have to be so mad about the polygons now. So this roof, for example, is extremely low poly, and you'd be able to use this in mobile games, depending on, unless you had really small icons on screen and there were millions of them. It might still manage it on some phones, to be honest. Millions would, no. Thousands, maybe. Hundreds, maybe. Hey, hundreds. But yeah. Where was I? So low poly, whether it's... so the topology on this isn't too bad. So it looks a little bit strange coming underneath here, but we need that because we need to see the underside, so that's not too bad. What else? I thought I saw another comment from someone. Is low poly has a high demand, or should I concentrate to create a more photorealistic asset? Well, I think photorealism is not going to go out of fashion, but because of scanning and things like that, and AI, I reckon that will be the thing that AI picks up first, is photorealism. Because if you think about the assets they'll be allowed to use, because there will be some ethics involved again, they won't be able to steal people's art, they'll be able to use a scanned library, I reckon, and that's what they'll use. So Quixels, they'll probably offer up their scanned library at some point, and so those mega realistic objects are probably going to be less needed for modeling, and it'll more be the artistic low poly stylized and stuff like that won't be susceptible to AI. I'm gonna scale these in the Y, bring those in a bit, scale in the Y. It's a little bit wonky at the moment, isn't it? I've got this one down here as well. Dodgy. Control Plus, that's a really useful tool as well, Control Plus, if you didn't see what that did. That just expands your selection. So you select the first one, Control Plus, and that will get the next ones to it. And now I can start editing this and maybe filling it in a bit. I reckon I can probably, here we go, GG. Make sure this is turned on. This is Auto Merge Vertices. GG to edge slide that across. And then I'm actually just going to select all these. I'll turn off Alt Z, which is X-ray mode. X-ray mode? That's the right word. Actually, maybe I'll turn snapping on for this one. Snapping to vertex. And G, snap that together to that one. That looks alright. Okay, GG to edge slide that one up. Do we really need this one? GG, edge slide it up all the way. That probably works alright. Don't talk about topology. Where am I from? I'm from the UK. I'm assuming that's talking to me. How old are you? I'm, you have to guess my age. Guess my age. How old do you think I am? Now you have to be really nice now. So whatever age you were thinking, take, 5 years off that age, and then you can post it, and then I'll feel better. Because, do I look old on stream? I look like I've got weird green hair. 25, that's more like it. Wait, who said 40? But weirdly, you're bang on. Hang on. 47. No. How do we boot someone off stream? 30, that's better. That's more like it. 18, yes, that's better. 15, we're getting a bit silly now. 69, wait. 50? 50? Let's say add 5. Oh dear. Minus 40. There we go. I am 45 at the moment. My February, middle of February is my birthday, so just turned 45. That was ages ago, actually, wasn't it? Anyway, I'm chatting too much. Now, what do? I need to make more of a roof out of this. Well, there's loads of people commenting on my age. 325 in Blender years. 420. Love it. Now, the origin point's in the middle, so I could do a mirror to mirror this in the X and the Y. No, I can't do the Y as well. But I certainly do the X and then rotate for the other one. Let's do that. Let's do an auto mirror quickly. So auto mirror. The auto mirror, like I say, is great because it also turns clipping on. It'll cut your shape in half and all those. So I just love that. Put a row of tiles along the corner. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking of cheating and putting a wooden block. Then I don't need to do much work. Yes, flying banana. 45. A key age, definitely. Long time. Currently learning Unity to make games and upload content to VR Chat. Have you heard of VR Chat before? I've heard of it, but I've not used it or anything like that. Now, if I do in object mode, if I press Alt D, R, Z, 90, we've got another row of them, and then I can go in, and if I edit this in what do you call that mode? Proportional editing. Scale this down. There's my circle of influence. I call it the circle of influence, and I can scale that down. Oh, that's looking a bit dodgy though. They look a bit squished in there. Maybe I don't need to do that, but I might extend these ones out slightly, so scale those out. A little bit of overlap there, isn't there? So if I go into... Let's go top view again, see what we've got. The origin point's slightly out, so I'm going to sort that out. Let's just move that into position. Oh, I've got snapping on still. Oh, let's move that right into the middle there. That's nice. And then we can... That's not looking too bad, is it? It's overlapping a bit, but I think we'll get away with that once the edge ridge tiles go on. Good stuff, Mike Gorf, doing the Blender course at the moment. A legend, thank you very much. Love it. Anyway, where were we? We're going to make some blocks. So I'll go back into object mode. I'm in object mode, in fact. Let's get... In fact, is there a block I can use already? There's one. You see? Turn off the origins. Into edit mode. L to select linked. So when it's a separate object inside an object, you can press L over it to select linked. Shift D to duplicate. P to separate by selection. And there I've got my block. It's quite handy because it's got a little notch in it and all those sort of things that you need for a nice low poly looking object. So sort of bevels like this on the edges. Also little notches, so I could say Control Shift B to bevel a vertex, and there a little bevel there. Join these together, and I've got a little notch in it as well. Look at that, isn't that cute? That's how you do it. Grant is the real Blender guru. Don't tell Andrew. Don't tell Andrew. Taught him everything he knows. Actually, when I first started learning Blender, I learned from Andrew Price, Blender guru. Would you believe it? Shouldn't be admitting that, should I? Right, I need to move my origin point up here. So let's, if I go into edit mode, choose these, and then Shift S, cursor to selected. There's my 3D cursor. Now when I go to object mode, right click, set origin to 3D cursor. Now when I rotate this, it rotates around the origin point where my 3D cursor is. That's handy because I can scale it down to the right size, move that in position, rotate it around the corner like that. Let's go to front view and bring that down like this. Oh, that's a bit weird though, isn't it? R, Z twice, Y twice, X twice. There's the local X. Probably should sort that out, but that would take some effort. And if it's one thing I hate, it's expending effort when blending. There we go. Move that across this way a little bit. Oh, I'm going to have to rotate it actually. I rotate around the Z. And I think it's probably going to need to go fatter at the end, isn't it? Will that look alright? Let's scale this down with proportional edit on. And then a bit of a curve upwards. I'm going to put an extra loop cut in here. Control R for loop cut, by the way, in case you didn't know. And then rotate like this. So it's got a bit of a whatever you call that, slope. Of course it's a slope, isn't it, Grant? Just seeing how the chat's going. Yes, Wendy Robinson also learnt from the Blender guru, which is Andrew Price, the original. Yeah, Jonathan Williamson. Is it Williams? I thought it was just Williamson. I thought it was Williams. But anyway, Blender CG Cookie is they're very good. I appreciate their work. Shouldn't be saying that. It's Grant Abbitt. It's the only courses you need to get in your life. But the other guys are really good as well. As well. Yes, it is very important, Blenderly, to where you put the origins for gains, because like I was saying earlier, if I go into object mode and scale up, it will scale from the origin point, and that's going to be really important when you're trying to make different sized towers, for example. So yeah, that is really important. How are people liking the stream so far? Do you like watching me make asset packs, or have you got any other ideas for things I could make that would be good? Let me know in the comments. I would appreciate it. I ought to put a poll. I don't really know how to put to a poll, but that would be handy, wouldn't it? Oh, now my Control R there, if I press Control R, it doesn't go round the shape. Why does Control R, so loop cut, not go all the way around my beam in this situation? First to comment on that, doesn't win a prize, but wouldn't it be great if I had some prizes to give out? Why does it not go around the beam? Because of ingons. Exactly that, ngons. Quads, yeah. So a loop cut can only go through quads. And that is the reason they say modeling quads, because it's much easier to edit your shape when you're in quads. You can add loop cuts, as people are pointing out. Yet poles as well is the... So it's an ngon because of this thing here. So notice when I press Control R, it goes around the other side, but not this side because they're ngons. So what's the best way of doing a cut across here? Let me know in the comments. See, we're learning today, aren't we? We're learning today. You're just going to be amazing Blender, brilliant people after this, aren't you? After this stream. Bevel. Do you know, I hadn't thought of bevel. But yeah, that's that's a really good idea. That's a bit quicker. The knife tool is one option. Knife tool is one option. I think the bevel is the fastest, actually. Because what I can do, which I hadn't thought about until someone said it, is bevel this, Control B to bevel. Got a bevel there. And then I can... Oh, go away. And then grab these, GG to edge slide, and I've got a cut in there. That sort of works. It's a little bit wobbly, but it works. The other tool, I was thinking, there we go. I can't pronounce your name because it's written in a different language, but the bisect tool, well done. Knife is great, but you have to go cut, 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 cut. Bisect, you go whoop, straight through the lot. GG. GG. Dice with hard ops, yeah. Hard ops, I've never actually used hard ops, but I've heard it's really good. And probably ought to get into it. Then bring that down. Now you see my roof is breaking through the top there. I think I'll have to make this top, the spire, a bit better. And I'll need to elongate my wooden plank. I was getting into the realms of innuendo there, wasn't I? There we go. It's a little bit wonky, but I think we're safe. Does that look alright? I think it does. We'll do some copy and pasting in a second. Let's do the spire first. I don't know why I want to do the spire first. I'm just going to grab this one and copy it. Shift D to duplicate. Move that across to the side. I have to move it across to the side because I've got the merge, auto merge on, you see. Elongate. Elongate. Make longer. Not elongate, not like Elon Musk's brother. No, that doesn't make sense. Anyway, P to separate by selection, and then let's scale this up. Oh, that's not going to work actually because I'm not in that object, and I need to sort out the origin point. So, do I like that spire actually? It's not very inspiring. Do I want to keep that? I'll keep it for now. Right, let's just set the origin to the center and scale it up. Move it into position. Bill Gates and Elon's weird baby. Yep, quite right. Isn't there a way of asking a question? Can you put sort of like question or something, and then it highlights if it's a question, then I can see that comment quicker if anybody has a really important question. It's not. I'm not suggesting it's a bad spire, Laurie. I think Laurie made this, who's on the stream at the moment. There's my spire. Is that more inspiring? Yeah, I could use that. I don't know. I probably ought to keep to one spire, but then this might be on the castle walls, this will be on the castle, so it can be different. Okay, let's zoom in this way. And now this spire, though... Oh, thank you very much. Anonymous. Anonymous. I like that. Anonymous. It's quite hard to say like that, Anonymous. This spire has what I would call a rogue bevel. Look at that. Look at that for topology. Now that's when topology isn't so good, because it's you've got to think of the point of topology. And here, if I press Control X on that one and Control X is dissolve, by the way, on that one as well. They're all over the place, actually. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. And I zoom out again. You can't really notice the difference. So that's kind of pointless topology that I was talking about earlier. So we want to minimize that. And in fact, we probably don't need this one, this one. In fact, I'm going to do some auto mirroring here. So auto mirror on the positive and in the negative the Y. So I can work on just this corner. Let's see what it's like without the bevel in the corner there. And even, dare I say it, this one. Yeah, so if we zoom out a bit, G then X, and we look at the difference between these two spires, obviously the size, but if I make them from this sort of distance, they look almost identical, but I've reduced the poly count by quite a considerable amount. So that's where I'm talking about wasted polygons. It's alright to have polygons that overlap, but you shouldn't waste your polygons by putting extra ones in that aren't going to be seen from a distance. Or the distance that the player is going to be. Unless they're, I don't know, it could be a ninja assassin game, and they're on the rooftops looking really closely at spires, collecting spires. Then you might want to up the resolution, as it were, the polygon count of this object. Yeah, have I used grease pencil before? Yes, I have, but not much. And so it's one of those things I keep saying, yeah, I must get into that. That would be great, and never do, because I'm always doing something else. Now, I want to create, I'm still on proportional edit, a sort of spire that goes up like this. But notice when I scale these in, actually it's working really well. Why is that working really well? I suppose the midpoint is here, but they're going in really nicely. Forget what I said there, it's working nicely, so don't worry. The stream is busted. Oh, why is that? Interesting. Lost him? I'll pause, let's see if I come back. Are we good? That's strange. Oh, just you guys. That's interesting. That's really interesting, because I set the resolution of the stream to 1080, 1920 by 1080. So I upped it slightly, thinking it was going to work okay, but maybe I ought to be turning that back down again. But we're back, we're running, so we're going to go for it. I'm just going to give it a point like this as well, to make it more inspiring. Why, there's that joke again. I don't like this one. Control X to dissolve. No, you can't do that. You have to be in edge mode. Control X to dissolve. Bring this one in, I think. And this one in as well. I don't know. Is that better? It's different. It's different. Might work. Anyway, let's move that on top of the thing. Move on a little bit faster now. Right, I need to copy this, so... No, I don't want to do Alt-D now, because it's part of this object. I think my website's good. Don't think it's that special. And I might want to edit them slightly, so they're all a little bit different. So I want to press Shift-D, RZ90, and that should go round. Now, I'm going to undo that, because notice that it's rotating about the origin point, which is good, but let's undo that. So I'll escape. I want to move my 3D cursor to the center here, and I want to rotate by the 3D cursor. There's a shortcut. The tool I'm using is up here, bounding box center, so transform pivot point it's called. Just checking that everything's alright on the stream. And if I go to 3D cursor now and rotate, you can see it's rotating around the point that I want. So that's the usefulness of your transform pivot points. The shortcut key to that is period key on your keyboard, and you can get to those transform pivot points there. And now if I press Shift D, RZ45, oh, it's 90, isn't it? Oh dear, Grant, need to sort that out. Shift D, RZ90, and enter. And I think I can press, what is it? Repeat last action, Shift R. There we go. I can repeat the last action like that and get 4 of them going around like that. That doesn't look too bad. It's okay, isn't it? It's not brilliant, I wouldn't say. Not too bad though. It's sticking out there. these ones are out of position. This origin point's okay, isn't it? Let's just move that a little bit. So I'm going to delete that one and just duplicate this one. So Shift D, RZ90, and there we have it. We have a nice looking rooftop. I'm not convinced by this, but let's just edit this slightly and see. Maybe something like that, where the wood sort of digs in a bit more, makes a bit more sense, and then we'll colour that in a second. So that we have a rooftop. That only took me like an hour. How long have we been streaming for, actually? People getting bored yet? Well, there's still 245 people watching, apparently. Is that right? And there's some likes. Isn't that nice? It doesn't say how long I've been going for, does it? Don't know. What is the time? 4 o'clock. I'll go on for a little bit longer. Let's answer a few questions. Yeah, my internet connection upstream's really... So this is one reason why I thought I'd do some more streaming, is because... Or go back to streaming, is because I've got fibre now, finally, after all this time. And I thought that's a good reason to start some streaming again, see how it works. And the upload is really fast, so it should be really good. I've only been doing 55 minutes. God, did I start at 3? Yeah, that's about right, actually, isn't it? Yeah, so I've not been going long at all. So I thought I'd go back into streaming and see what people wanted. So has anybody got any things that they would like to see me do? Then do... am I making any sense here? Have people got ideas of what they'd like me to stream? I used to do some fun stuff, like would do a model together and would try and do a sort of teachery type thing. So we'd all take part and model the same thing, and then I'd talk about it and people would post it on the Discord and I'd show them that stuff. So that's quite a fun one. Or it's just hang out with me whilst I model stuff. I mean, is that fun for people? I don't know. Is this fun? Let me know. Sculpt stream. Yeah, sculpting. I do like sculpting, and I need to practice. I haven't done it for a little while, so I need to start practicing again. I haven't done much drawing or sculpting for too long, really, so I need to get those skills back again. I'll answer that question in a second. Make a watchtower. Oh, as in a clock tower. That's a nice one, isn't it? A clock tower for the castle. I like that. Could you do low poly animal modelling? Certainly, we could do one of those. Yep. How about a proper snail shell? Yeah, to be honest, there's probably a way of doing that that's really mathematical. But I'd just go in and I'd just model it and build it up until it becomes a snail shell. What do you think about learning Blender now? Yeah, I know lots of people are sort of worried about learning Blender in the current climate because of AI. I would say definitely learn it. I'm obviously going to say that because I make courses and I want to sell my courses. But no, I really do. If I know that it's one of those things that you could say, oh, in 5 years they're going to be able to make 3D models better than we can by typing in, make me a 3D castle, for example. I don't know. I think that's a little bit further away than people think, but I could be wrong. And they'll always need people to edit these things anyway. If you look at the concept art that's been created by Midjourney and so forth, for 3D to get to that level, I think we're a few years away. And that level still isn't quite right yet. There still needs people to go in and touch those things up. I think it will slow down a little bit as well, the development in this, because of the legal and ethical constraints that are around. So it would slow things down. It won't stop things, certainly not. So you've got these... Oh, thanks again, Anonymous. So you've got those, the worry of AI, but I think you always need artists, and there's the skills to be able to create. So if AI creates a wonderful scene out of these models, how can you tell whether it's good or not? How can you tell whether it's going to be good for a game or not? Without experience, you can't. And the initial experience you get from learning a program like Blender or Unity or what it might be, it is going to be really valuable in the future, where people find it harder to get those skills because they haven't got the incentive to. So those very first programmers were probably, I don't know, what the programming language they were learning was probably an absolute nightmare. And now we've got things that it's much easier to program now than it was in the very early days. But those people with that knowledge are really in demand because they understand the ins and outs of coding, so they can code a coder, if that makes sense. So what I'm saying is those initial skills are always going to be in demand. So I don't think AI will replace us, and I think there's always a call for artists. I think there'll be less of a call, but there'll be more opportunities created by AI as well, is my opinion. Anyway, there was another question somewhere else, wasn't there? There's loads of questions coming through. Goodness me. How are you so good? Give me an advice to become a good animator. Fact finder, you are spamming the stream. To become a good animator, you need to be a good observer. Observe movement. You need to understand movement. A good actor as well helps, and obviously learn the tools. Be good at the tools and practice. I'm losing it because I'm reading the stream at the same time. Completely lost where I was. Learning animation is going to be one of those skills that I think AI is going to find hard to replicate well. So that's a good area to get into. Anonymous, your question, because you actually even donated to ask this question. How to kit bash and manage scaling issues. That's really interesting. I've not used much of kit bashing stuff, so I've not noticed any scaling issues with that. It's probably, again, as I was talking about, origin points, where you're scaling from is going to be all important, and setting your scale to make sure that all your objects, once you kit bash them together, have the correct scale, so it's been applied. I always say set the scale, but apply the scale. I think that will sort those problems out. But unfortunately, I've not done a lot of it to know what your question is referring to there. Shutter Authority. Nice to see you here. It's funny. It's nice to see lots of names I recognise. It's good stuff, isn't it? And Corey S. Thanks for joining us. Corey S. is my main moderator for the Discord, so you'll probably be in touch with him if you're on the Discord. I think the link to the Discord is in the description. I'm not sure it works because I didn't update that. And the last time I streamed was about 3 years ago, I think it was. Any advice on improving my texture painting skills? That is just down to practice. It's all down to practice. Yes, watch other people as well. So watch streams and time lapse of people doing texture painting. That will help. But it is very much about practice. Are you British? I am indeed. Thank you for sharing so much knowledge on this YouTube. Yeah, that's that I am an educator by heart. I think I really enjoy it when you impart some knowledge to people, and I don't know, it gives me worth. I don't know that, but imparting knowledge to people and seeing them grow and develop is really important to me, and I'm very much that sort of person. That's why I'm actually excited about AI, because I feel like it's going to give more people more opportunities. Yes, there's ethical issues. Yes, there's legal issues. Once we get over those, because it will, it might, like I say, slow it down slightly. And I do wish they hadn't have gone about it in such a ethically questionable way, especially when it came to the art side of things. But I feel like it's going to give people opportunities, and I'm very much for sharing ideas, growing as communities, and I feel like that should be a good thing. But yeah, unfortunately, when people get hold of it, people can mess things up. Could you do a course on good workflow for Blender to Unreal? I don't do much of it, unfortunately, so I don't know enough about it. Hang on, avocado. That's weird because there's another avocado. That confused me for a moment. But it's something I'm looking into. So hopefully. Low poly assets as a freelancer. Any advice? Keep it simple. Try and keep the topology simple as possible. This is low poly assets, and so pretty much what I'm doing here. And it's more about communication with the client. Good relationship with the client. That's going to be more important than anything, I would say. Yes, a fact finder. You are spamming the stream a little bit here, so careful, otherwise you may get muted for spamming. Because it just makes the stream go faster, and then I lose the questions. How is AI supposed to get to a usable state without training sets? Well, it depends on the training sets. Let's say I'm training it to make 3D models. I can choose to train it on data that it just goes and scrapes from all the CG Trader or those things without people's consents, or I could ask something like Quixel mega scans, can I use your scans to train my data? And they'll probably say yes if you pay us $1 billion, and they'll say yes, and then that's how they'll get their AI 3D models. That's why I think being more of an artist about these things rather than making real models, real life models, will be more in demand as a career. But it might do the unethical thing and just scrape people's work, which is a bit unfortunate. I hope it doesn't do it that way. I reckon they'll find ways to get AI to the level without scraping people's data. I mean, if we look at Adobe Firefly, that's training it in more ethical terms. I don't know whether you can call it ethical or not, but they're trying to be ethical about it, because Photoshop is a program used by artists, so they couldn't afford to make their AI art in any way unethical or not supportive of artists. And I think they're doing quite well with it, because although it's not great at the moment, it's nowhere near as good as Midjourney, it's great to help you with your art, to expand out photos and add things into photos and stuff, give you ideas. It's actually quite a good tool in that sense. Avocado Fire, Laurie, this is who I work with, hoping to do Blenders to Unreal course, so perhaps we'll work together on that, Laurie, because I think that's in quite high demand, isn't it? Certainly. Would you be streaming daily, weekly, as in the past? I'm thinking maybe I'll certainly do a once a month one for now. I might even do once a week, depending on how I'm feeling. Because I haven't got anywhere near as much work done as I probably should have. So it does slow my work down a little bit. But it's a nice thing to do, because it's nice to be chatting to people and part of the community, which I have missed a bit. This is great, talking to people, saying hello, seeing what people are up to. I do wish it was a little bit more two-way, though, that I could see people's work and they could post people's work up and we could comment about it. Discord's good for that, so maybe we'll do that in the future. So Jesse Zeravit, people are accountable for their own actions. Most are using Google Drive, and they like where they relinquish the rights to their own IP. I'm not sure what you mean by that, sorry. Very confused by what that question was. You're using language that I don't understand. Adobe sourced images that ethically sourced images, so people volunteered their images to be sourced. Supposedly is a big question there. People don't believe Adobe when they say that. I do, actually, because if it was ever found out that they didn't, there'd be the community would be very upset, and they could be very hurt by a boycott of artists, because they need artists. So I think they have to be very, very careful. Yes, Adobe really is the closest to ethical so far, which is funny in a sense, because Adobe, I feel like they're not a great company. I don't know. I just feel like the way they've gone about things in the past hasn't been great. But they're going about it the right way at the moment. I've heard that Unity are being very careful with the way they source their AI stuff for their new AI Unity thing that they're doing, which looks quite amazing. If you've seen any, look it up, Unity AI. It will be very, very interesting if they manage to make it work. That's quite exciting. Exciting and scary. I do find these things exciting and scary, if I'm honest. Thank you very much for the donations that people are kind enough to give me. Time K. It's very interesting. Any company that uses OpenAI is based on Stable Diffusion is using unethically sourced art, really. And there's lots of them that are saying, "Oh no, but we're ethical," but they started off with that model, so it's not really, in my opinion. Yeah. Anyway, shall I continue making some models? I'm sort of stopped a bit there for chatting to people. I'm just going to see what this looks like on top of here. So Alt D, X. Let's move that on top. Do keep asking questions and highlight them with question if you have any. So I need to edit this by the looks of things to bring that down. Whoop, let's isolate the model first. So I need to grab that and the roof. Isolation mode. I can't help but call it isolation mode. I think isolation mode, it should be called isolation mode rather than local view. Isolation mode makes more sense to me. Say yes, Grant, if you agree. I'm going to start a little protest that it should be called isolation mode instead of local view. I mean, what does local view mean to anybody? Oh, that's a little bit dodgy, isn't it? But I can change this. Doesn't need that one going down there, I don't think. Or does it? Does it? Maybe. Let's bring these in. Yeah, let's grab these here. And then scale in the X. Oh, where's the origin point? Oh, we're still on 3D cursor. So period key, bounding box center, scale in the X, like that. Almost there. Scale a little bit more in the X. And then we'll have to... I feel like I'm just going to edit this slightly to bring that out. Have I got all of those? G then X, bring that out slightly. G then X, bring that out slightly. That one there a little bit. G then Z, bring... Oh, G. Oh, I grabbed it, in fact. Alt Z, there we go, try that. Grab those. G then Z, move those upwards. That's worked that side, and we seem to be okay this side. It's not mirrored, is it? Don't think so. G then Z, move that up. Now we've got a roof for that. That could easily turn into a clock tower, that one, couldn't it? Yep. Just having a look. Yes, there we go. It should be called isolation mode, definitely. Do you know how modeling changes if you are making something that is going to be destroyed? Do you add in the break points, or is that something an engine would do? Well, there is it plugins? I'm not sure it's a plugin or an add-on in Blender, which is sort of break stuff basically, and it breaks it up for you into little pieces. So you model it normally first, and then you set a sort of make it break upable, and then you can add your physics engine to it and stuff like that. So for those who don't know, I'm making a little asset pack of castles, and it's going to be a little castle like this, and it's going to be a big scene actually, because we've got a little village as well, village houses, and we've got some cool stuff like trebuchets, and we've got a well there. Look at that well, look at that. And we've got some little houses, and what are this? Stocks for those nasty criminals. Oh, that's on top of that one. Let's move that across there. So yeah, lots of different stuff. I call it Abbitt media, Gamut media. Well, unless there is a Gamut media. Abbitt. Grant Abbitt is my name, and my staff code used to be, when I taught in schools, Grant Abbitt it used to be, so it just became the Abbitt, and hence this is Abbitt media, because I started my channel when I was teaching. And it's mainly just a teaching tool, and then it sort of grew and grew. And then I was able to leave teaching and move into YouTubing. Would you believe it? A YouTuber. I feel like that's sort of working. I feel like we need a double length one of these as well. And maybe even a double length castle thing as well. That one's sort of double length. So I could probably use that and flip it round. Let's grab the roof from here. So, do I want Alt D or Shift? No, Shift D for this. Shift D, move it across. That is always the question at the moment. Do I want to Alt D or do I want to Shift D? And it's it can't really scale, because if I just scale in the X, that's a really cheap way of doing it. But actually, it's just about, you can get away with a little bit of stretching, and that's probably just about right, to be honest. So that's going to work with that particular model. So I can grab this. So Shift D, let's move it across to the Y, over to there, G then Y, and I can just take the top part off this one. So in order to do that, let's go into side view, just select these, and I think we can just delete the faces. Yes, we can. And then it's a case of making that into more of a, what do you call it, a point. O for proportional edit, G there, G to grab, let's just get those ones. Let's go to side view, G to grab in the Z, up to about there, this one, G then Z. Bring that circle of influence, and again I think that should be called the circle of influence. Anybody agree with me? Circle of influence. How do I find the motivation to do big projects like the current one? Now this, the other day I was working on this and I was thinking, oh man, this is so massive. Why did I ever get into this? Start off small. It's the classic drop in the ocean scenario, but it's one drop at a time. Just, yeah, indeed. Proportional edit should be called the circle of influence. But yeah, so just start off small and build up slowly. Don't think I'm going to make an asset pack. Think I'm going to make a castle, and then I'm going to make the castle walls. So go nice and circle of influence does sound like a cult though, yes. But go nice and small with your ideas and build them slowly. Even with games as well, you should be thinking like, if I'm going to make a game, as Rick would say from Game Dev TV, make game moments to start with, and then build up slowly, making the whole game. So you build up game moments and they become one big moment, and then they become a game. So take it slow is the key with that sort of thing, and getting motivation. Just moving this across. It's a little bit dodge looking at the moment, isn't it? Dodge, English term, dodgy. Right, is that looking okay? It's peeking through in places, but it's just about, that's passable for now. It's probably needs a little bit of an edit, but I can sort that out. Just at the moment, I'm just figuring out different castle structures and things at the moment. That's what I'm doing. How about some hexagonal roofs? Oh, you're making this hard now, aren't you? Yeah, so as Laurie points out, we're making a little asset pack that we're going to release in the future, and I think it's going to be cool. I'm quite excited about it. You can see it sort of starting to work over here as a little asset pack. Look at that little mountain. I'm not that impressed with my mountains though. What's going on with that one? It's all a huge mess. But yeah, so the castle can go in here, and then we can have the little village out the side the front, and there's someone else's. I love the trebuchets. Look at that trebuchet. And then different types of walls, like this one. Oh yes, drawbridge. Gonna have a drawbridge in there. Why do you teach, Grant, and is YouTube a sideline? I think I sort of fell into teaching. This was secondary school teaching. I started as an IT teacher, so teaching computer science type stuff. I wasn't particularly good at that, to be honest. I'm not as this computer science. I'm an okay teacher, I would say, but teaching computer science I wasn't brilliant at. I feel like I want to just move that one out now because now's the time. And then after, it was secondary school teaching. That was quite tough because the kids often don't want to be there. They want to be learning, and then you don't want to be there, and it was all a bit tough. But I slowly got into teaching media studies next, and then teaching games design. And teaching games design was wonderful, but it was still teaching, and teaching has a lot of bureaucracy, and it's quite hard to work with at times, and very frustrating. So being able to do my YouTube channel was a bit of an escape to start off with, and I really enjoyed it, and just kept going with that, and the channel grew and grew, probably because of my teaching skills. I just pressed Alt D instead of Shift D with that one. And then here I am making YouTube videos. Oh, I just noticed the stream went funny then. How did you find that? Is it still working? Hello, Blender Fun. I won't ever merge them all together in a complete castle. I'll keep them as separate objects, but you can merge parts of it together. Like this is a merge of the towers on top of a tower sort of thing. So you can, we're all good, are we? You can do that, but no, we're all good. But I wouldn't say select this whole thing and merge it all together, because there's no point really. When buying assets, can you use them in my game and not worry about copyrights? If you've bought the asset pack, you should be able to use it in your game, because that's the whole point of buying an asset pack. I'd be very surprised if anybody was selling an asset pack that they said you can't use in a game. But you do have, there should be a licensing agreement with it. The one thing you can't ever do is sell it on as an asset pack or in part of an asset pack. But you should be able to use it in your games, yeah. Lots of students are kept in contact with me. I haven't spoken to many recently, but I really like keeping up with my ex-students and seeing what they're up to. I'm one of those people that when I come across make an acquaintance, it will be a student, a friend, they're a friend for life for me. And students, I'd love to see any of my ex-students again and talk to them. It's funny, I'm getting a bit old, 45, but I still play football regularly locally, and in my football team there's a couple of people who I used to teach, and that's always a funny sign. Or I'll play against another team and Mr. Abbitt sort of thing, and it'll be people I used to teach, and I love seeing my ex-students. You're all my students, yes indeed, and I love each and every one of you, of course. It's funny actually, being slightly famous on a niche part of the internet is a strange thing. I feel like I have to go to a Blender conference at some point just to see and meet up with people, face to face. So I don't get that much. I don't get that face to face, which I do like. Right, I was making a clock tower here. I thought that might be quite fun. So how can we do that? I feel like the clock tower is going to be much taller. Is it going to be thinner though? I feel like it will be. So I'm going to split this up. Let's go into isolation mode, or local view as some people call it. Those silly people who don't understand that it's called isolation mode. Let's grab these faces we need, don't we? That looks a bit wrong. Oh, I've messed that up, haven't I? Look at that. That doesn't look very good, does it? What are you doing there, Grant? Right. I'm going to delete that and do it again because that is awful. Let's select these two, go into isolation mode and see what we've got. I'm just going to move this up. And yeah, I really did mess up the topology there. I don't quite know how I did that so badly. I suppose I need to bring this down. And then weirdly, it sort of still works. No, it doesn't actually. No, it doesn't. No, it does not. I can probably select this one and this one over here. I'm going to get rid of that because I don't need it. So that one and that one. Sorry, that one and that one. I'll get there in a sec. And scale X. Just got to watch for these bits going through. Scale X. I feel like I need another one in here just so I can G then X and move that in without messing up the structural integrity of our beautiful tower. There we go. Right. Now I can duplicate it. So Shift D to duplicate, and in the Y, bring that across there. Right. How do you stay motivated and not get burned out? Take lots of breaks and step away from it. Get outside. You might even need a break for a day or so where you don't. I had one day in the last year probably where maybe about 3 days where I haven't turned the computer on. But that's a really important thing to do is have a day where you don't turn your computer on, you don't go on your laptop. I think that's important. Football, not American football, it's soccer, which is the original football. Actually, it's not the original football, actually. I think American football was called football before my football, soccer, was called football. So British people actually called it soccer in the first place. So it's a bit annoying for Americans, that, isn't it? Oh, I feel like there's something going on here, isn't there? What's going on here? When did I do that? When did I do that? I'll just delete that one. Hopefully that's What have I done? What have I done? I've duplicated it a couple of times. I don't know quite how I did that, but I did. So I still need to change that one there. G then X. This is the problem with asset pack creation. You just get a bit confused with what's what and where. And I'm not labeling my stuff at the moment, which I should be. Laurie's going to get really annoyed with me. When I buy an asset pack, can I change the individual assets to my needs? Definitely. I would say so, yes. Yeah. Has anyone ever praised your amazingly gentle ASMR voice? Weirdly, they have. Apparently that's a thing I just have naturally, is a soft, soothing voice, and people complain and say it sends them to sleep when they're watching my tutorials. There's no pleasing some people, is there? But it's nice. I practice my British accent, my English accent, because I think it's easier for other nationalities to listen to. So my natural state is to drop my T's slightly. So instead of saying isn't it, people say in it and stuff like that. Stuff, you say that. That's a dreadful word, isn't it? What are my thoughts on the donut tutorial? It doesn't put me on... I am glazed, you see, a glazed donut. The donut tutorial is great because it's gotten lots of people into Blender, but actually, as a tutorial, I don't particularly like it, but that's from my opinion and my stance. I don't think it's a good starting point. I think it's a good general overview of Blender, but I do feel it's a little bit too advanced for someone first starting off in Blender, and I imagine it's put a fair few people off, feeling it's overly complicated. That's just my opinion though, of course. But it's an excellent thing because it's got loads of people into Blender. Anyway, let's move this. So I'm gonna... how am I going to do this? I'm just going to separate that. P selection. I'm not sure about that top actually. That doesn't look great, does it? I feel like we need one of those up here. I'm going to select that one. Control plus. Again, that Control plus command. Shift D to duplicate. Z, move that up. I think, yeah, we need one up there, but maybe just across the top. So actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to delete those faces and get my trusted log. Let's go into edit mode, select that with L. Let's try and select it again. And Shift D to duplicate in the Y-axis and P to separate by selection. All making sense, isn't it? Need some windows. Yes, windows. I think that's... Is my volume still a little bit low, is it? Oh, wow. I can go even louder. Let's bring down this this thing here. Again, where is it? That thing there. And then I can go to my filters, edit filters. Let's turn the gain up. I'm going to go to 9. Anybody remember Spinal Tap? The fake documentary on a band that were called Spinal Tap. And there was a joke in there about turning it up to 11. Let me know if I'm showing my age here. Anybody remember Spinal Tap? Spinal Tap. Right, let's... yeah, turn it up to 11. That's it. How do you break link copies? Okay, so let's say I'm going to do a duplicate. So Alt D X. I actually have that as in my quick favorites. Quick. So you go to Object Relations and make local. Actually, no, make single user. Sorry, object and data, and that now is not linked. So if I go into edit mode and start moving it around, it's unlinked. But I have that in my quick favorites, Q, object and data, because I use that quite often. And I think there should be a shortcut for it. I don't think it was Harrison Ford that got started with Spinal Tap. Don't think so. It might be. I don't think it's Harrison Ford. Yeah, I tend to do sort of fantasy stuff, and this is Checkmate saying, why aren't you doing proper humans, realistic humans? But that's just who I am, and that's what I like doing. I'm better at it probably than... But maybe I'll do some anatomy tutorials, then people can do proper humans at some point. Maybe I'll do that. I don't need to do this one anymore. There's this one here. Right, let's grab the end there. Cursor to selected. I probably don't need to do that actually. I'll just select all, grab in the Y, bring that over to its origin point. Right, and this end is a little bit big now. So we'll scale that down. I want it to be fairly even, so I can use this. Oh, look, it's got an extra weird bit there. What is that? Delete vertices. Not sure what that was. Right, let's move this down into position. Z90. G then Y. G then X. G then Z. And we're sort of getting there. I'm going to just move this across by hand. I'll probably have to rotate this around the Y a little bit, like this, so it doesn't knock through around the Y. That's sort of working, isn't it? Sort of. I feel like now we need this sort of structure in here as well. Oh dear, it's just never ending, is it, once you start? So Shift D for this one. Rotate. Scale it down. This is the great thing about having the scale options like this, but actually we're going to scale. Oops. Yeah. How to do that? Scale is the local x-axis. And I'll make it a little bit narrower as well. There. And then should I do an Alt D or Shift D? I'll do a Shift D and then RZ 180. And we're looking fairly okay. This wants to go in a little bit though, then G then Y. How's that looking? It's looking okay-ish. I feel like this roof needs to be a little bit wider, so I'm just going to scale it a little bit in the Y. About there. That's good. Oh, Saul's brother from Better Call Saul was in Spinal Tap. Okay, there we go. How about that? Would I mind dropping my camera 1% down? Is it because it's cutting off my hair? Or is it because I'm in the way over here? Is that what it is? Let me know. Good to hear. Mirko Ponce, is that how you pronounce it? Hello from Canada. Where are people from? Let me know where you're from. I'm always interested where people are listening from. Let's move this up. Chroma key thing, and yeah, there's a tiny little chroma key thing, and that is annoying actually, isn't it? Okay, I can sort that out, I think. How can I sort that out? Can I sort it out whilst I'm live? That's the big question. I'll see where people are from in a second. Yeah, I can do this. Right. Is it gone? No, it's not gone yet. There, I think I got it. Did I get it? Scotland, Singapore, Brazil, Dublin, Czech, Trinidad and Tobago, South Korea. Oh, it's just everywhere. It's great. Germany, Portugal, Australia, Malaysia, Georgia. Amazing. Finland, Mexico, Washington State, Sweden, Malaysia, France. Oh, thank you very much, Blender Guy. That's really kind of you. Really kind of you. I'm glad the tutorials were helpful. Poland, there's one. Germany, Italy, France. Macedonia, Idaho. It's interesting that people would say their state rather than America. So you'd say your state that you're from, and most people say their country. It's interesting. Sri Lanka, Nepal. Cool stuff. It's fun. It really is fun. I don't know why. It's so much fun to me, seeing where people are from, what they're up to. Anyway, how long have I been streaming for? Why is it not giving me that statistic? Right, I started just after. It's about an hour and a half or something, isn't it? About an hour and a half. That's not too bad. I just need a wee. So I'm probably going to end the stream. Can't the the UK can fit into one state, so I suppose saying a state makes most sense, yeah, because of the size. All right, you people in the USA and your states. 94 minutes, that's a good time for a stream, isn't it? I'll do a little bit more because I'm having so much fun. It is fun chatting to people. I'm very lucky to be able to do this and to to get some donations as well. I feel like I'm getting paid for just for streaming. Isn't that wonderful? I am lucky. I'll miss this when AI takes over. That's the scary thing, isn't it? It's going to be every job, and there'll be like this fake Grant Abbitt with green hair because of the green screen, pretending to be the authentic Grant Abbitt. It's a shame, but it's coming for me. What am I doing? Shift D here. Move that up into there. P to separate by selection, and then we've got an extra bit there. Is this clock tower going to work? I think it needs to be taller as well. Scale Z. Oh. Scale Z. A really tall clock tower. I think tall and thin is going to make more sense. So I'm going to keep this because this is handy, but I think we need a different clock tower face personally. I can get my own Grant Abbitt AI bot and I don't have to do anything. I'll just press the go on the Grant Abbitt bot and it does everything for me. Blob dude. Some of the names on here. How do you think of your name? I always put Grant Abbitt, but I suppose it's because I feel like that's a brand almost, Grant Abbitt. But people come up with some funny names. Right, I'm going to take a pause, and if you keep streaming some more, the chance to keep that's putting me under extra pressure to stream some more. I'll definitely do some more streams because this is great fun, and hopefully people. I don't know. I feel like, is this of any benefit to anybody? That's why I don't stream. I think, well, no one's going to want to watch this. We're going to watch this rubbish. But there's still almost 250 people watching this stream. It's nice. Hanging out with 250 people. It's very strange. Okay, I'll answer a few more questions. I'm just going to save my work because I haven't done that yet. I've got quite a good computer, and it doesn't crash very often, but occasionally. Blender hardly crashes these days, does it? I'll say that. It's about to crash probably, isn't it? Need to save as. I'm saving this, Laurie, if you're still with me. Main 6 now. Not that I've done much work. There we go. I better put it out of local view and save it again, actually. There we go. We're getting there, Laurie. We're getting there with our... If people are wondering, Avocado Fire is on stream. I'm working with Laurie to create this asset pack, and we're working together. That's why I keep mentioning Laurie. Anyway, any other questions? Whilst I've got you here, what any other questions? It's 12:45 a.m. here. Where did you say you were from, Glenn? Charles Roll? That's just naughty. Yes, the castle is for an asset pack. We're making a big epic asset pack. Hopefully it's going to work because we put a lot of effort in. And there's a team of about maybe 9 of us. We're only sort of testing out getting a team together and stuff like that. But we've been making asset packs, so I'm doing a little bit more just to build this little castle scene. And it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. I've always wanted to do that, little asset pack. Japan. Oh, wow. Do people stay up? What is it? The more people I speak to, the more people stay up till about 2 o'clock in the morning and stuff. And I can't do that. Maybe it's being old again. Who's old like me? Just give me a thumbs up if you're around 45. I want to know. But if I stay up past like 10 o'clock, I start getting really tired. VTuber. Oh, no, thanks. Japan gang. Yeah, Laurie, you stay up really late. What's going on there? 35 and still the same, yeah. 25, can't stay up too long. 51, oh, anybody? Okay, who's the oldest here then? Who beats 51? 51 and watching streaming, is that normal for a 51-year-old? I think you might win it. Miku, is that right? Oh, Indonesia, 60. You're in the lead, Andrew James. And another 50 from Michael Royale. 39 is single, eh? Yep, James, I think you are the winner there. So pat yourselves on the backs if you won one of the little competitions today. There was a few. One was loop cutting through Engons. Can't remember what the other one was. and how old you are. Do I have any advice for starting an indie game studio? Do you know, I've never been involved in an indie game studio. Well, a few sort of didn't get off the ground and stuff. But, thanks very much, Mendy, is that right? I'm glad the content was helpful. Blender Guy, you're donate your age. You've got to stop donating. You're donating too much. It's very kind of you, but you're giving away too much. It's too much. Where were we? What was I saying? Oh, I've lost the track now. Donations just, they throw me, so I feel awkward. What was I saying? I just cannot remember at all now. I'm going to have to just end the stream. I've just lost my track. Oh yeah, so it was starting an animation studio. If I were going to start an animation studio, I would, it's probably with a group that you know quite well. Have a goal, but make sure it's a small goal, because the first goal will probably fail really badly, and then build on that and just keep building on that. That's my advice. Start off small, and don't get discouraged when things go a bit wrong. Thank you very much, Andrew. James, very kind of you as well. I don't know what that currency is. IDR. It's quite cool. Thank you very much. First goal is to fail. Failure, the best teacher there is, as Yoda would say, in a weird voice, of course. Yeah, stop ruining the stream, Blender Guy. Good workflow for creating such an asset pack when it comes to texturing and texture painting. Oh man, that's the hardest asset pack to do, is because I used to have a job for Atlas Empires and creating assets, and they're like an asset pack but for a game, and it's really, really tough when you're hand painting stuff, because you have to put all the textures onto one map or a few maps anyway, and so you really have to think ahead. Again, I'd start off small and be prepared to have lots of different maps for different sets. Have sets of objects. So if you're doing an asset pack, for example, you can have one mega pack if you like, but start off with a small pack first. So let's say foliage, plants and things like that. That can be your first pack, and then maybe it could be a castle as your second pack, but just work on a flanking tower and a drawbridge or whatever, and a few items, but plan it out carefully first. You don't want to be adding things halfway and then you're adding more texture maps. Real pain. What else have we got? Did you play at the Atlas Empires? That was good fun, that was. Jake Bonham, I recognise that name. Been on the stream before, perhaps. 2 or 3 a.m. You need to go to bed, people. You shouldn't be watching. It's bad for you, watching screens late at night. Although I have been told that my voice sends people to sleep, so there we go. Maybe this is helping it. If it just start of a ASMR stream of me just talking rubbish, that'd be great, wouldn't it? A good book for learning Blender. I hear that every now and again. I'm still amazed that people want to learn Blender from a book, because it's just so much easier with videos. But I don't actually know of a good book for Blender. No bed, just streams. No. Great pun there. Any other questions before I go? Last few questions, probably. I should scroll up really and see if there's any. How to shade. I've answered that one, I think. I think we're all good. Yeah, honestly, I am actually quite serious when I talk about sleeping, because in my life I'm very strict on certain things. So diet, exercise, and sleep are the 3 things, because if you don't get those, if you don't do those, get those, it can affect your cognitive ability. So if you're trying to learn something and you're not getting enough sleep, that is massively detrimental. You should learn something, and that your sleep is just as important as the learning process, because apparently your brain is processing all that knowledge, hence the term sleep on it, and you'll get the answer when you wake up, that sort of scenario. It's really, really important. So go to bed. I shouldn't be telling people to get off my stream, but you should be getting off my stream, really. That's not good for you. And get exercise. Exercise, very important. Now, I found out the other day that if you have a really bad lifestyle, you drink, smoke and all these things, but you exercise, you live longer than someone that doesn't exercise. How about that? That's how important exercise is. And yes, lack of sleep, not getting exercise does lower your IQ, and therefore you won't be as good as Blender. At Blender. See, my IQ's obviously I haven't done exercise for ages, so it must be lowering. Too much exercise. In fact, I've got to go to the gym in a minute. That's what I'm doing next. Exercise. Exercise is good for the brain. It is good for the brain because exercise gets the blood flow to the brain, and that actually does help you to think. What would you do with this assets? These castle assets are going in a castle asset pack, available in all great stores, probably mainly on Game Dev TV actually. But yeah, it's going to be an asset pack. It's going to be amazing. Look at these little houses. Aren't they so cool? Look at that. It's going to be a cool little asset pack. Maybe I'll do a competition giveaway of an asset pack. But to be fair, I imagine most people don't really bother with asset packs. They're more interested in how to build asset packs because you're learning Blender. It's those people who use Unity loads or Unreal or whatever it is. They'll be interested in the asset packs. So you're probably watching this thinking, how can I create asset packs? Well, it's not too bad. You can create asset packs like this. It's good fun. It can be a bit of a headache getting to work together and link together. But yeah. Where do I get my ideas to begin with? I look around the ArtStation and stuff. Well, you're not allowed to say that anymore because you're scraping ArtStation for ideas. But yeah, ArtStation, Pinterest, and actually I use AI to get ideas. I think, because you can be a bit more precise, and I don't feel like that's unethical, but some people would, and I appreciate that people are upset about AI. Marathons? Definitely don't do marathons. My exercise is football mainly and the gym, and that's about it really. But I'll play any sport. Love sport. Do you have to make your 3D beds before you get to sleep? Anyway, I think Champions League is on tomorrow, isn't it? Yeah. I hope you're all rooting for Manchester City, of course, the British club or English club. Anybody else into football? Thumbs up if you're into football, anybody? And tell me if you're supporting Manchester City or the other one. I can't even remember who they're playing. But hopefully I'll get a chance to watch it. Oh yeah, soccer, by the way. Inter Milan, is it Inter Milan they're playing? That sounds right. Manchester City are going to win anyway, so... let's go City, that's what I like to hear. NFL, no. No, we don't do American football here. Tennis only at the moment. I like playing tennis, but I've never been very good at it. But I'd happily have a game. Yeah, Haaland is awesome. I think that's one of the reasons I like Man City, because he's just a beast up front. Australian no rules football. You'd like chatting to Rick then. He loves that. Rick is my colleague at Game Dev TV. And Andrew James is very kind of you to keep donating bits and pieces like this. Thank you very much. I would like skateboarding, but I would be scared of injuring myself. I'm getting to that age where injuring myself is very easy, and I do it all the time playing football. So skateboarding, can you imagine how badly I'd get hurt? I like a bit of badminton. I used to really enjoy badminton. I haven't played it for a while though. Yeah, Harlan is AI. Anyway, I'm sort of winding down now, as you can probably tell. Yeah, I'm definitely rich now. Thank you very much for everybody that's joined me on this stream, this improv stream. Yes, I'll probably do it more often because it's really good fun and I love chatting to people. Not sure. I'm just gonna. Where should I get people to comment on the Discord in suggestions for other streams that you'd like me to do, and I'll take a look at that. The Discord link should be in the description. I think Laurie might have. Did you? Oh no, actually, you can't change my description, can you? But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's in the description there. Otherwise, it'll be on my most recent. Well, just contact me to find a way of getting onto the Discord. Comment in one of my many YouTube videos, and I'll get back to you with the proper link. If it's not working, the link. And yeah, let me know what you'd like to see on live streams. Certainly sculpting, hand painting stuff. I like doing that. That's nice and easy, and I can chat whilst doing that much easier than I can this sort of stuff. And Or if you'd like to just have a questions and answers, I like doing those. They're nice and easy. They are. Thanks, Laurie. There's the Discord link and Blender Guy. Thank you as well for posting those up. Awesome stuff. Yeah. Okay. So thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you again. I'm not sure what the time will be. Say your best times of day as well on Discord. Let me know in the suggestions part of Discord. On my Discord channel. So yeah, thanks for joining me, and I'll hopefully see you next time.